Finn and I found an incredible dog listing nearby.
Dudes, dogs? No, we're not gonna bring dogs here.
But listen, they aren't normal dogs.
What are they, missing legs and shit?
No, it's bigger than that.
Bigger? What is it, missing, every leg and its tail?
No, bruv, they are...
What do they got, like extra legs, 6 legs, and a huge strong cock?
What the fuck? Just listen, you bloody bellend.
Sorry.
They're guard dogs.
Guard dogs? That's pretty normal.
No, guard dogs.
Guard dogs, guard.
God, like Jesus, Gandhi, Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh, God. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know, they have 2 guard dogs listed for $4.
It's a pretty good price for gods, but what makes them gods?
We thought you'd go and find out.
Yeah, aren't you curious?
Yeah, not gonna lie. Send me the address, I'll check it out with Kyle.
Wait, whoa, what are we checking out now?
God dogs.
On backlog, been gone for way too long. On backlog, got so many games to play, dog. On backlog, Donkey Kong expands my dome. On backlog, me and Kyle been fucking since dawn. On backlog, did you know that Kyle wears thongs? On backlog, I really fucking hate this song. Yeah.
Okami.
What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming with me, and welcome to the season finale of Back at the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that we recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game Okami. Okami is a game that I don't actually have much history in. I picked up the Wii version some time ago, but never actually played it. All I knew is that I wanted to play it one of these days. I mean, think about it. A game that you play as a wolf that is directed by Hideki Kamiya and is compared to The Legend of Zelda? Yeah, I'm down. Okami was released on September 19th, 2006 for the PlayStation 2. It was developed by Clover Studio and published by Capcom. We are not taking a look at the PS2 or Wii versions of the game though. Instead, I decided to play through Okami HD, the remastered version on Nintendo Switch that released in 2018. Quick fun fact about this Wii box art, but in North America the box art has the IGN logo on the box art. Yup. They fucked up and used an IGN image and printed out a ton of copies with an IGN watermark. To this day, that blows my mind. Is this game where you play as a wolf any good? Well, here we are 16 years after its original release. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first. It starts off with a story from a long time ago in the world of Nippon, where the wolf Amaterasu, or what the villagers called Shiranui, and the swordsman Nagi sealed away the 8-headed dragon Orochi, which in turn saved Kamiki village and stopped the horrible yearly tradition of sacrificing a maiden to Orochi. Fast forward to 100 years later, and Nagi's ancestor Susanoo removes the sword that sealed Orochi away, and immediately Orochi comes out and causes terror to the world. The tree spirit Sakuya reawakens Amaterasu, knowing that she only can stop Orochi once more. However, Amaterasu's powers are much more weakened and also lost a lot of memory from that 100-year period. Then, out of Sakuya's breast comes Isun, the wandering artist. Yes, you heard that right. Look, we'll talk more about Isun later. He's quite the character. Isun is an inch-tall Ponko looking to learn the 13 celestial brush techniques. He ends up tagging along Amaterasu's journey when he finds out that she's a god and is finding those techniques to relearn. So Amaterasu and Isun set out on an adventure to stop Orochi and learn new celestial brush techniques along the way. That's the intro and world they lay out, and it's all really interesting. Right off the bat, visually this is one of the most beautiful looking games of all time. It's an art style that has not aged a single day. If you told me that this was a new game for PS5, I wouldn't even bat an eye at the visuals. Its incredible watercolor world and character models stand out as one of the most unique looking games ever. It's just one of the most stylish games I've played, from the world to even the menus and text. Even just running in this game is stylish with the blades of grass that Amaterasu creates when moving. This is a game where painting plays a big role even in its gameplay. From combat to solving puzzles, you'll be using the Celestial Brush to perform plenty of different actions. Now, what is the Celestial Brush? Pressing a certain button pauses time, moves the screen, and brings out a brush that allows you to paint in this world. There's the 13 different moves you pull off for different scenarios, like during combat, you could quickly draw a line over an enemy, slashing at it, causing damage. Mixing combat with paint mechanics is incredibly creative and adds more layers to a fight as the game goes on. Out in the world, painting a circle in the sky can bring the sun out, changing the time from night to day. You get new celestial brush techniques pretty consistently, keeping the paint mechanics constantly feeling fresh. I always enjoyed getting new paint mechanics, especially since you meet these new gods with all sorts of designs and hilarious intros. Unfortunately, sometimes though, the paint mechanics just don't quite register, or it'll perform a different move. Very occasionally I would have a problem slashing at an enemy, or I'd create a sun when I was just trying to bloom a tree, since they're both just a circle. That's pretty rare, but it's something that has happened to me. I also would have enjoyed it if they've done more with the paint shapes. While each brush technique is different, a lot of them are just straight lines or circles. Sure, it makes it more simplified and quicker, but I don't know. I would have preferred more variety of shapes or symbols.
What do you want to be making, full-ass drawings?
No, just, different shapes.
I wish I can learn how to paint.
Well, you ain't learning in Okami unless you're just painting circles.
I would like to paint the earth.
Well, shit, I guess Okami pretty much has you covered then. One option on Switch that I love that they kept from the Wii version is motion control for the paintbrush. Instead of using a stiffer analog stick, be the brush and glide with your hand. I was so adamant on using motion controls that I played with my Joy-Cons in a much different way than intended. Since the Joy-Cons are much thinner and smaller, controlling the camera on this controller while using it separately just isn't that comfortable for me. So instead I used the Joy-Con grip for just the right Joy-Con to control the camera much easier, while still having both separate. And damn, it works really well for me. I just may end up playing like this in other games, to be honest. I've always loved the Wiimote Nunchuck. Having essentially one controller, separate in two separate hands, is pure relaxation perfection to me. This game is also just a perfect idea. It's not often that you can play as an actual animal running around on four legs. Sure, there's some games out there, but there's something very unique about Okami. Amaterasu only howls and growls like an actual wolf. The main voice you'll hear is Isun's, as he's the one doing all the talking with all the NPCs you'll encounter. I just absolutely loved that idea and thought it worked so well. That doesn't mean Amaterasu doesn't have emotions or something. She'll have many expressions during the journey, with some really funny moments with jaws wide open. There's a lot of humor to this game that I would genuinely laugh out loud. There's just a ton of characters with a variety of personalities, and someone like Isun is always talking shit about them. It's great. This game is very dialogue heavy, but I never minded it as I enjoyed the characters and their conversations. Now, someone like Isun is straight up an asshole. That may be a problem to some people, but to me it was enjoyable seeing Isun just straight up talk shit to so many people. And every woman this dude sees, he flirts with or just straight up talks about their tits. There's one moment in particular that makes me laugh with this one woman named Rao, who Isun calls Busty Babe. But just seeing Isun just straight up falling on the floor in love was hilarious. There's also this one part in the game where the two are going to an underwater area, but the only way is to ride this orca. The orca only shows up for people who are worthy, and this one dude thinks the orca returned for him because he's been there before, and as he's about to hop on, the orca just tosses his ass so far, and I thought that was great. This is a game that genuinely feels like an adventure. There's a wide variety of objectives and scenarios you'll go through, making it never really feel repetitive for the most part. There were just some scenarios that I wasn't expecting at all, like getting shrunken down and entering someone's mouth to defeat this demon of air in a ninja outfit. It's at this point you get to see Isun as normal sized, which is super cool. There's a part where you go undercover at an enemy base, and of all things you gotta do there, you're preparing the villain's meal. At one point you'll even be able to visit Isun's village and learn about his pretty interesting backstory. The variety is just great with this game. I also never got lost in this game because of its really detailed menus, logs, hints to help you out if you really need it, which is always really nice. As for the comparisons with The Legend of Zelda, I'll be honest, I don't see it. Yeah, this game has, I guess, dungeons, I suppose, but Okami just truly feels like its own thing. Sure, inspirations from the series, but well, like I said in the Ocarina of Time episode, every game ever takes inspiration from that game.
To be fair, you play as a wolf in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, but it also came out the same exact year. It is a pretty wild coincidence that Link turns into a wolf in Twilight Princess, though. It's bizarre.
Damn, Drew, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think, like, you sure you guys aren't sharing notes or something? Like, what's going on there? As for the dungeons in the game, honestly, I'm not even sure what areas are considered dungeons. Everything in this world feels really tied together that I never really stopped to think about, well, shit, it's dungeon time. Time to solve puzzles, defeat enemies, get new items, etc. To me, it's a much simplified idea of what a dungeon is. I'll be honest, I don't think I could tell you what area was even a dungeon. I guess the areas that would give you maps, but even that didn't feel like an isolated area, completely different from what I was already doing. And no, that's not a bad thing. If anything, I find it very impressive that these areas fit so well in this world, and that it just felt like a different area I was in for the journey. I enjoyed any area with a separate map a lot. As for combat, you'll be versing a variety of enemies with some truly unique and honestly kinda creepy designs. The combat is pretty simple and straightforward. You'll have a decent amount of weapons to choose from that you'll find along the journey. While with most enemies, you'll be slashing away at them, whereas for the beads, whipping them. There are plenty of enemies that require you to take a few extra steps before being able to cause damage, like slowing down time to attack a fast enemy, especially when it comes to bosses. There are a good amount of bosses you verse in Okami, and all are cool and unique in design as well. Since we are talking about bosses though, I am now going to talk about the ending to this game just to let you know it is time to fight Orochi. Orochi delivers some villain monologue questioning how Amaterasu is back, but no time for questions. Those necks of his are about to be sliced. However, Orochi is essentially invincible without getting him drunk. Yes, eventually the purification sake is poured, allowing Amaterasu to connect the sake to Orochi's mouths one by one, getting him drunk until every head collapses and attacks the bell in the middle. When that takes enough damage, Orochi as a whole falls and is now vulnerable to attacks. One head at a time, Amaterasu beats the shit out of Orochi until Nagi's ancestor Susanoo comes out and attacks Orochi. However, while he is slashing at their necks, you have to help him out by painting a slash with the celestial brush. It really shouldn't be tough at all, but it took me a few tries as it for some reason would not register the fast lines through the necks as slashes. Whatever. But eventually Susanoo delivers one final slash and Orochi is dead. They save Kushi, the maiden sacrifice of that year. A narrator tells us how a mysterious evil force emerged from Orochi's corpse, flying in different directions, and that the true calamity has yet to visit the world. However, Kamiki Village is safe for now. A celebration goes on with fireworks and everything when Sakuya tells the duo to check out these other areas. And yes, you're going to check out the other areas. No credits roll. This isn't post-game stuff. The journey continues.
What? For real? I thought the game ended there.
Bro, you did this before. Stop being so impatient, you bastard.
I'm sorry. I defeated Orochi and immediately turned the game off.
Dude, just wait until you see credits.
I just don't have the time. I gotta keep going.
Where?
Places, bro. Places.
This whole Orochi battle felt like an ending, but it's far from over. Like, there's another 20 hours to this game. Yeah, for a decent amount of people, that actually sounded like it was a negative to them. They felt their journey was to defeat Orochi and that it wrapped up nicely. Hell, I thought it was the end for a bit, but I didn't understand how as I check how long games typically take to finish on average before going into them. The average playthrough is 33 hours for the main story. It's a BB game, but one that is paced really well to me. I have seen complaints that the game is too long, and I personally disagree. They utilize the runtime wisely to me. As I talked about earlier, there's a bunch of scenarios that feel unique in location and in objectives that I never thought it was poorly paced. Hell, there's even a second major boss that feels like it's an ending again, but that still wasn't the case. There's even a part where you time travel and team up with your past self from 1 or 2 years ago. It's fucking awesome. But after all that journey, finally, it's the actual finale. The Arc of Yamato. Before boarding this ship, we learned that the only creatures that may board are creatures that are worthy of the trip to the heavens, and unfortunately, Isun just isn't worthy. So after almost 30 hours of Isun, the two have to sadly split up, and man, I felt so bad for Isun at this point. The Arc of Yamato is the last area, a series of trials before facing the bigger evil. The trials are all previous bosses you versed before, with literally no variation, which is admittedly pretty disappointing and repetitive. Hell, you even verse Orochi again, which is the third damn time. At this point, I started buying a bunch of exorcism slips, which are essentially bombs that cause massive damage to enemies. Now before this, I essentially never actually used those slips, but then I realized how powerful they are, and you can hold up to 99 of them, which is crazy. I almost felt bad for using it, but it's literally bosses I've versed before, so I didn't care. And also, well, they are meant to be used. I just never realized how powerful they are. I mean, look how quick these bosses get killed when you use one. That took like 8 seconds, and 6 of those seconds were in a menu. They are pretty pricey to buy, but so many fights give you so much yen that you could stock up on those powerful items if you really wanted to. Then finally, with all trials complete, the way to the final boss is upon Amaterasu. The final boss is Yami, the evil ruler of darkness. Yami is not a giant ass ball, but instead this mechanical ball is a small, seal-looking creature. Yes, that is Yami, and the only way to damage that bastard is by opening it. Yami first takes all of Amaterasu's powers, and as you fight Yami, you'll get one after another back. It's pretty epic with a bunch of different phases. He starts off red, firing torpedoes at you, then lights himself on fire at green, has a whole ass slot machine at blue rolling what will come at you, grows arms to smack at you while yellow, and is defeated. Then Amaterasu envisions Isun jumping on her nose, celebrating the victory, and tells her to perform one last victory howl. However, she stops when she realizes Isun isn't actually there. It's a pretty damn great and heart-wrenching scene as she does a lonely howl. But then, Yami takes all the power from Amaterasu again. At this point, all hope seems lost, but all of a sudden, a voice is heard. And another voice. And another. And another. Isun is down on the mainland, handing out Art of Amaterasu to everybody, telling everybody to pray for Amaterasu. Isun finds his calling and delivers an absolutely tear-jerking monologue about what he learned while on his journey with Amaterasu. I was genuinely choking up. It totally reminded me of Earthbound with those prayers. I absolutely loved it. The music, everybody looking up to the sky, it was incredible. The hope of the people gave Amaterasu back her powers, and it was one last battle with Yami. It's an intense final battle where you are constantly bringing the sun back in the area as Yami shoots fire, causes meteors to come down, and even tries to grab onto Amaterasu. Hit after hit is delivered to Yami's body until finally the final hit is thrown. Yami is defeated, eventually evaporating from existence. Amaterasu lets out one last victory howl. Amaterasu then sets her eyes to the celestial plains, home of the gods. As she flies over the land, Isun yells out how he'll get everyone to believe and follow Amaterasu. And until then, take care of yourself, you big furball. We see the celestial plains, and then the credits roll. I loved the credits, how Amaterasu was walking alongside it. It's gorgeous. What a great ending. Truly felt both epic and emotional. There's one last narration saying, "You want to know how I alone know this tale no one knows? You listened to the whole story and never figured it out?" I instantly was like, oh, that's awesome. The narrator this whole time has been Amaterasu. Then when I was researching, I found out everyone is saying it's Isun this whole time. And I guess that makes sense, but if that's the case, why would Isun know about the events on the Arc of Yamato, a place he couldn't enter? Only Amaterasu knows that. So I'm saying it. It's not Isun, it was Amaterasu. She was the narrator the whole time, as she's the only one that knows every single tiny event that happened. Then there's some stats on your playthrough in which one was how many times you died. And guess, how many times did I die? The number of times I died was 0. Yes, I didn't die at all during my journey, which I'm pretty surprised at that. That was Okami. What an absolutely fantastic game. It was an adventure unlike no other, with an amazing style, unique gameplay mechanics, and a memorable cast of characters. This is a game that will stay with me for a very long time. Overall, I'm going to give Okami a deserves to be in an art exhibit. I'm not joking. Out of 10. That was greatness. I'll always hold dearly the adventure of Amaterasu and Isun. You know, they actually made a sequel on the DS called Okami did. After playing Okami, yeah, I definitely have to check out Okami did one day. Even if it's not nearly as good, still means it will be pretty damn good. It'll definitely be an episode one day. This is the Season 3 finale of Back of the Backlog, so I'd like to take a step back and take a look at what we accomplished. Over the past year, we finished another 12 games. Ratchet & Clank Future Quest for Booty, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, A Boy and His Blob, Final Fantasy VI, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Grand Theft Auto 3, Jak and Daxter The Precursor Legacy, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles, and Okami. 12 games, 12 different franchises. How many more to go? Yeah, I still don't have that number. Thank you so much for watching this series. It's just so great to take a look at so many different genres of games from so many different time periods for the first time and really break it down with you. Video games are incredible. And not so incredible. Maybe you haven't actually played some of these games, and hopefully these episodes at least get you to want to check out a couple out, or at least enjoy hearing a newcomer's take on these games. I can't wait to see what the next 12 games will be for Season 4. That'll be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Share these videos around as these take so long to make. Have you played Okami? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Okami was an incredible, stylish adventure, but it is officially out of the backlog. So these are the dogs?
Yep.
And they're gods.
Yep.
And they're $4?
Yeah.
So, what exactly makes them gods?
Well, I mean, look at all the power wrapped up in it.
Yeah, I see that. Pure magic. Godly. For what is their power though?
Well, one day I was asleep.
Cool. I went to sleep last night.
I didn't.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, the day I went to sleep, I woke up and what was I saying?
You woke up?
Oh, that's right. As I was getting out of bed, I fell into a dark void, and there I was, found myself floating in space. It was kind of like, have you ever seen Paddington 2?
Oh, what? Yeah. Love that movie.
Yeah, real good. So I was floating in space. Literally, I felt my body being dragged into hell, the abyss. Literally, I saw the gates of hell.
Wow.
The devil introduced himself.
Really?
Cool guy. His name's George. Mr. George Devil.
Not Satan?
Who?
Satan.
Never heard of him. Anyway, dude is huge.
Really?
Yeah, minimum 8 inches. So it's literally boiling down there. And the buildings are literally on fire. And I catch fire. My body is burning alive. Until they save me.
The dogs?
They extinguished the fire with their piss. Their tongues gave me new skin. They then carried me out of the void with their own 2 hands. They are gods. They brought me back from hell.
I have a lot of questions.
You may ask, none of them.
Oh, shit. Not even one?
Okay, fine.
Do you do drugs?
Every night I alternate between acid and shrooms, but other than that, I'm 100%. 100%.
That's great. So why give away the dogs that saved your life with their hands?
I need the money.
$4. You need $4?
Look, I'm willing to compromise. I'll bring it down to
2?
$2. I really want to make a chicken sandwich. I've been craving one for like the past 20 seconds.
How much for the Animal Crossing Switch dock?
The what?
That, the Switch dock.
$10,000.
$10,000? You could buy those for $60 on eBay right now. You know what? Make a deal. I'll buy you $45. Give you $45 right now. $45 now.
I can't. I like the bear guys.
That's Tom Nook, Timmy, and Tommy, and they're fucking raccoons.
Besides, it's rare. I mean, there's not a single other one in this entire room.
So what about a McChicken sandwich for it?
Deal.
And that is how we got this dock.
Fucking crazy bitch.
Whoa, bro. It's 2022. You can't be calling women bitches.
I'm talking about you. Could have had god dogs.
He's a fucking idiot.